comments, please subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. We are all still Zooming, and many of you are Zooming from your iPhone or iPad. A few weeks ago, I recorded a video covering 7 tips on how to use Zoom on your iPhone or iPad. You should definitely go and watch that video first. Follow a video covering 3 more tips, basically that I just pulled from all the comments and questions that I got on that first video. Here we're going to cover using virtual backgrounds in Zoom on your iPhone or iPad. Then we'll talk about how to view multiple meeting participants while you're in a Zoom meeting. And lastly, the biggest question I got was how to share video or audio while you're in a Zoom meeting from your iPhone or iPad. Now, many people know that you can use virtual backgrounds in Zoom meetings, but it does work a little bit differently on an iPhone or an iPad. The first thing you need to do is make sure that your iPhone or iPad actually supports virtual backgrounds in Zoom meetings. Not all of them do. Your iPhone must be an iPhone 8 or higher, which came out in 2017, or your iPad must be the original iPad Pro, which also came out in 2017, or you can use the 5th or 6th generation iPad, which came out in 2017 and 2018, respectively. Now, if you don't know what model iPhone or iPad that you have, you can find out by just going into your settings app, and over on the left side, go to General. And then at the top on the right side, you'll see About. And if you look, the third item down is Model Name. That should tell you what model iPhone or iPad that you have. Now, you also want to make sure that you have the most recent version of the Zoom app because they're constantly releasing updates for security and enhancements. In order to add a virtual background, you need to be in a Zoom meeting, even if it's one you just set up to play with virtual backgrounds. Once you're in a meeting, you're going to tap on the More button, which brings up this menu here, and you can see virtual background. Now, by default, Zoom provides a few images down there at the bottom for your purpose of you can just choose those, or you can tap a little plus sign there, which will bring up any photos in your Photos app. In order to add your own virtual background, your photo must be in your Photos app, whether it's a picture that you took yourself or it's a picture that you downloaded from Unsplash or Pixabay or a similar site. Now, if you haven't given Zoom permission to access your photo roll, it's going to request that at this time, and then you can just go in and select the picture that works for you. Now, keep in mind, if the picture is square or if it's small, that picture is going to get blown up behind you to fill all of your background. So you just might want to experiment a little bit to see what works best for you. Now, when you're choosing and working with virtual backgrounds, just make sure that you remember this is a separate section of the Zoom meeting app. In other words, when you are done selecting your virtual background, you need to exit out of the virtual background section in order to get back to your Zoom meeting. On the iPhone, you're just going to tap Close in the bottom right corner. That takes you back to your meeting. Now on the iPad, you're just going to tap the little X in the upper right corner, and that takes you out of the virtual background section and back into your Zoom meeting. Now during your meeting, if you want to change your virtual background, you simply are just going to tap More again, go to Virtual Background, and here you're in the virtual background section. You can go and just select another background to switch to, or you can just tap down here at the bottom to switch between the different virtual background pictures that you have. When you're done selecting another background, you want to exit out of the virtual background section. I'm just going to tap X there, and then it takes me back to the actual Zoom meeting. If you want to take out the virtual background altogether, You've got to go back into virtual background, have more virtual background, and then over on the bottom left, you see where it says none. You simply just tap that to get yourself out of the virtual background. And now again, you need to exit out of the virtual background section. I'm going to tap X and that takes me back in. Now, lastly, let's say that you want to take some of the fingers out of your virtual background options. You got to go back into virtual background or virtual background. Down at the bottom. Now on the iPhone, you're going to tap to select a photo and then tap remove the photo. On the iPad here, you can see I'm just going to select the photo I want to remove, and there's a little trash can icon.